I watched Moana 2 today, and with current ratings standing at 7 over 10 IMDb, 61% Rotten Tomatoes, 58% Metacritic, and a current box office gross of $960 million, I have some thoughts on it. So, getting straight into the review, this movie released 8 years after the original was set a little bit, maybe a year or 2 years after the events of the first movie. I will end up watching the movie again. This is a movie I can watch 2 or 3 more times. We got to know more characters. We got to see her develop as a character too. We also got to know more gods and demigods within the Moana universe. First thing I'll say as a positive notion towards the movie is it looks good. They managed to slightly improve upon the animation of the previous movie. Then I will say I like the way this movie started. I like the way the movie ended. In between is a bit shaky. Some of the songs a bit lacking, and some of the songs were good too. The Rock as Maui was very wonderful. Maui as a character really developed and improved. He's more likable for me compared to 2016 when I last watched Moana. Him and Moana seem like a very nice, wonderful team. Basically, the plot of this movie is Moana coming back from her journeys as a wayfinder is looking for a particular mountain that's meant to join all islands together. So, in our quest for this mountain, for this island, it is cursed by a particular god that doesn't want the people connected, and these people being connected weakens him. So she sets up, gathers her crew, and goes on a voyage to find this island with the help of her pig, Hey Hey, Maui, and her crew. Her mother and father also get new lines and were equally introduced to her younger sister. For one, beyond the dynamic between her and Maui, I really like the way she interacted with her parents and her younger sister. How we know that both of them don't know each other for long, but they really love each other. We also get introduced to another some sort of demigod on a particular island, which I don't know why they decided to in the trailers place her as a possible villain for us. She ended up being a good guy. So during most of the time she was on screen, I was always looking as to why is this girl deceiving Moana? Until we later realized that it is us that were deceived. This isn't our villain. Then a thing for this movie too is the actual lack of a villain in this movie. This movie is basically trying to drive itself towards a particular point. Not that there is this force or this character that is pinning us down as the way it goes. As they are on this voyage, there are different stops and turns that slow them down, how they overcome these stops and get to their final point. After the introductory song, them giving her her title, I think we move too quick into trying to reach this voyage. And also her point of her methodology of choosing characters. The characters she ended up choosing were nice, wonderful. No one was particularly too annoying, but it also seemed kind of rushed and already rehearsed. And this points back to also some criticism about this movie being what is it actually about. Some people say Moana 2 is an incomplete movie, but I won't say that it is. It could be said as being complete in an incomplete way. Of course, the movie is only 100 minutes. That's 1 hour 40. So to cover that short time, they filled it with songs and with some conversations that were meant to be had being cut short. There wasn't enough talking between her and her mother in this story. As for Maui himself, there could have been more Maui in this movie. They really improved his character from his skill set to the way he talks with others to also his animations on his chest. There should be more character selections. It can't be the same 4 animals every time for Maui with the millions of species, millions of different animals that exist. To give some little spoilers, we essentially in this movie we got to know a lot more about coconut people, why they are what they are driving at, and we also got to know one of the characters. As to who was meant to be our villain, I think this is an issue where like with what the MCU had, they had a final driving point beyond the movie they were making. But because they weren't looking as their movie to be its own complete piece, the movie, as I said, seemed to be complete in an incomplete way. If you looked at the post credits, we already know that Moana 3 is slated for 2026. So we have not seen the end of our Thunder God. And if with the multiple gods, we had at least gotten a proper interaction, because he looks like a very intimidating character. If we at least got some interaction between him and Maui, that would have given this movie another point, another reason to go and see it, another reason to recommend this movie again. But we didn't get that. But I like the way it ended, although a part of the ending seemed a bit rushed, because obviously with the Disney movie, they achieved their goal. And after the achievement of their goal, it seemed like all the islands were driving to the same point at the same time. After Moana and her friends have reached this particular island, island after island after island after island almost simultaneously show up at the same time, which I deem it to be odd. Moana is basically Percy Jackson, but better. She's a demigod. In the movie, they didn't explicitly say so, but by the new tattoos she got and the new markings on her oar, she's the newest demigod. And thank God they didn't overdo it with her tattoos. For a short movie, there isn't much I have had to say about the movie. So, given my three criteria of the score, the plot, and interaction between characters, for the music, there were good songs. They were very mid songs, not exactly any bad songs. For the plot, it was a pretty weak plot. I would say that one very plainly. It was a plot that if the two movies that are being intended to be made were joined into this movie, would actually have made this one stronger. So maybe I'll wait for Moana 3. But on this movie I just watched today, it was actually a pretty weak plot. And then interaction between characters, that one it was okay. Wasn't too bad, wasn't too good. For Moana's interaction with some characters, she definitely developed as a character. We knew more about her and more about others, but particularly taking notes of interaction with some of her family members, which wasn't so strong. So conversation between characters was alright. On Letterboxd, I've already given the movie a 3.5, and as a personal over 10 rating, I would place the movie between 7 and 7.8. Maybe I'll give it a 7.3 for today. Having my own opinion is important sometimes. Having your own opinion is also important too. So if you don't agree with me, or if you feel like having a movie to watch, you don't know what you want to watch, go ahead, watch Moana, tell me what you think about it. This has been Ryan Studio. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.